Okay, if you guessed correctly from last week's clue, you may have figured out we're looking today at the Mega Jumbo Charmander. This is the third Jumbo Mega Pokemon set that I've looked at, the other one being the Pikachu and Eevee. Both were pretty good, solid sets, fun to build, and they look great to display. I'm a little worried about this one. On the box, he looks a little too chunky, not quite very well done. But I had the same issue with the other two Jumbo sets, so maybe once we get this built, it'll prove me wrong. So let's put it together and find out. And here we have the Jumbo Charmander, and same as before, the box art really just doesn't quite do it justice. It looks pretty chunky and bulky on the box, and yeah, he's fairly much a little chunky boy, but it's not bad. Once you get him out and get him posed and set him alongside the other ones, he looks very solid. I think my biggest complaint is the articulation of the head is just side to side. He can't look up and down. There's no real neck movement other than, back and forth. I like that they gave him an articulated mouth. I think that turned out better than I thought it would. And even though you can't open it too far without it looking a little goofy, just, slightly open gives him a little bit more life, which is nice. The joints on the tail I foresee being problematic eventually, with the flame effect being just a little too heavy, so eventually I think it's going to just start drooping like it is already now at this point where it's loose there. So it may end up being something down the line that ends up being a disappointment. I like the legs. I think they did the toes very well. I do wish that they could figure out a way to give like some finger articulation for the hands on these models, but I think they'd have to make them a little bit bigger in scale in order to be able to do that. So for now, I'm happy with the way the arms currently are. I think the building process was very well done. I think in the past they used an excessive amount of bags, and this time not so much, or at least it felt like it was a more reasonable amount of the pieces and the steps that were in per bag. I think it was done a little bit better. It seems like maybe they're a little bit more mindful about how much plastic they've used, but also it could just be my imagination. Hopefully they are taking steps to limit the amount of plastic bags they wrap the pieces around it. So I'm really happy with how this set turned out. I'm looking forward to putting the Bulbasaur together that I have waiting in the wings, and hopefully eventually we get Squirtle so we can get all of the Generation 1 starters done and built. And if you liked Pikachu and Eevee and you've been thinking about picking up Charmander, now's probably the best time. I think he's starting to get clearanced out, or if he hasn't been clearanced out already, then definitely grab him, since I think Bulbasaur is kind of holding a spot. So again, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Again, it's kind of weird that the photos on the box kind of don't really do it very well. I think maybe they need to hire a new photographer, or they're probably more like computer generated images. So whoever's in charge of designing the box really needs to figure out more flattering photos for some of these jumbo sets, because I don't know, it's just once you get them out and built, they're way better. So yeah, pick him up if you haven't already. He's well worth it, and he's going to look great next to Pikachu and Eevee. So next time I'm doing an action figure unboxing, here's a clue for what next week will be. Leave a guess in the comments below and let me know what you think it might be. Until then, stay safe, happy hunting.